During a recent podcast appearance, Donald Trump once again insisted that before he leaves office, the United States is going to control the territory of Greenland. We are going to be taking it away from Denmark one way or another. We don't know how yet, but it will be ours because we desperately need it. Even though obviously we've, been just fine without it, we somehow right this very moment now desperately need Greenland. But here's what happened. He was on with Real America's Voice host Steve Gruber. And Steve Gruber said, "I made a prediction on this program that before you left office that Greenland would be under our operational control." And Trump responded saying, "You'll be right. They want to do something. Greenland is important from our standpoint, not from their standpoint. You should make that bet. They want to do something," he said, and then he admitted it's not important for them, but they still want to do something. Yeah, they do want to do something. They want to prevent you from ever stepping foot in their country ever again. That's what they want to do. Greenland hates you, and we have seen that multiple times throughout your administration when you've sent your little envoys over there and they actually had to pay people to take the MAGA hats and still ended up throwing them in the trash. They don't like you and they do not want to be a part of the United States. Nor do we need them to be a part of the United States. As I said, the United States has been getting along just fine without controlling Greenland. There has not suddenly emerged a need to take over the country so that we can, monitor the Arctic because we can already do that from Greenland because they've given us permission to do it. We've got military bases there for that specific purpose. Okay, so everything that Republicans have said we need Greenland for, we already have. So we don't actually need to control it. What they're not telling us, of course, is the real reason they want Greenland. It has nothing to do with the military. Has nothing to do with monitoring Russia and China, as they always say. It's about the vast mineral reserves that Greenland sits on. We want that because we're a very greedy-ass government and we want to sell it to the highest bidder and make a lot of money. That's why that is the only reason they want Greenland. But, I did think it was funny that Donald Trump told that Real America's Voice host Steve Gruber that he should take that bet because if we look at the prediction markets, the folks on Kalshi don't really seem to think that Donald Trump is going to get his hands on Greenland. Take a look here. You'll notice a few months ago actually there was a pretty massive spike in the amount of people that were, placing bets that the United States would acquire Greenland, but then ever since then, right there on that graph, it's all going down all the way, basically below 12% thinking that the United States is going to acquire Greenland, really before 2026, 2027, or 2028. So the folks that are actually putting money on it, Donald, they don't have any faith in you. Nor should they because we do not need Greenland. It's just your weird creepy obsession because you were apparently told no one time and now it's going to bug you for the rest of your life. New script with synonyms, same lengthy structure, new words. Throughout a recent show broadcast, Donald Trump once more asserted that prior to stepping down from power, the United States is going to command the land of Greenland. We are planning on snatching it from Denmark by any means necessary. We aren't sure of the method yet, but it will belong to us due to our extreme requirement for it. Despite the fact that clearly we have, survived perfectly well without it, we somehow right at this exact second now desperately require Greenland. Here is what transpired. He was interviewed by Real America's Voice presenter Steve Gruber. And Steve Gruber stated, "I delivered a forecast on this broadcast that prior to you finishing your tenure that Greenland would be under our direct governance." And Trump replied by declaring, "You will be correct. They desire to act. Greenland is crucial from our perspective, not from their perspective. You ought to place that wager. They desire to act," he stated, and then he conceded it isn't crucial to them, yet they still desire to act. Yes, they certainly desire to act. They desire to block you from ever setting foot on their land ever again. That is what they desire to do. Greenland despises you. And we have observed that repeatedly throughout your presidency when you dispatched your minor representatives over there and they literally were forced to compensate citizens to accept the MAGA caps and still ended up dumping them into the garbage. They dislike you and they have no interest in becoming part of the United States. Neither do we require them to become part of the United